Here we go. Well, welcome everyone. It's Tuesday, June 5th, and it's super fun to be together with One Team Strong and Team Abundance. I love seeing all your faces and your pictures and your bright smiles. Stacy is at a fun resort with her family, and Christy's getting ready to leave town and at baseball games, and that's what's so awesome about this business is how we get to just keep doing life. So some of us from our group had a retreat last weekend, and we're really excited to bring a few of these topics from our retreat to you guys this month as well. But today, we're going to be talking and kicking off this month with an area of our business that I think we all can embrace more and need to do a little more growing, and that's with connection calls and getting connected. Many people on our teams are actually part of the June Brave Leaders. So for those of you who have done Brave Leaders before, can you give me a wave? How many of you guys have? Yeah. Brave Leaders is the program that our corporate office has put together with Brene Brown to help us with personal development and leadership skills. And it is fabulous. It's super exciting and fun. There have been 2 classes of Brave Leaders currently, and then a 3rd class just started off this week. And how about those of you who are part of this Brave Leaders? I see Miss Janelle Beck enjoying her glass of wine. She's a new Brave Leader gal. That's awesome. So anyway, it's great. But one big part of Brave Leaders that those of you who have been through it or are getting ready to go through, here in the next couple of weeks, they're going to start encouraging some accountability with 3-way connection calls and actually encouraging you to do 3 a week. And I think it's an awesome goal, and I'd love to challenge everyone on our team to do at least 1 connection call a week, if not more. But I just think that would be an amazing thing. Hey, Stacy and friends, to be a part of. So I wanted to share tonight some resources that you can access to hopefully get you a little more comfortable. So for those of you who are newer to this, you've maybe heard someone reference the term 3-way call, and that is something that we need to say, oh, sorry, I was going to give a shout out. If people are walking outside or moving, you may want to turn off your video because then it can be a little more distracting. Awesome, thanks. A little side note. But anyway, but you've maybe heard the term 3-way call or a 3-way or different things. And I just want to say, let's scratch that terminology. A lot of the material talks about a 3-way connection, but you guys, let's just call it connection call. And it's really a conversation. It's getting someone connected with someone else in this business to amen maybe what you've already told them, to cast some vision. So most often, you're typically putting a new prospect, whether it's a prospective customer or a distributor, on the phone with your upline. That is another term that you don't want to use in general language. You don't want to use the term team leader or upline. It's just friend. If I'm setting up a connection call, say someone with Christy, and they are a social friend of mine, then I call Christy my friend. If it is a doctor that I'm setting up this 3-way connection call, then I may call Christy my colleague. So if it is a business setting, a business person, then, the only terminology you'd really want to use is either friend or colleague. But you don't want to talk in terms of, I want you to meet my upline or my team leader or downline or sideline. It's just friend. You want it to be an appealing call that people are excited to be connected with. But I am going to share screen real fast and show you guys. See here. So missiondrivenmodel.info. Just to recap for those that if you're newer, I don't want anyone getting confused. The number 1 website that you want to use for getting started is www.thefreedomrevolution.com. Okay. And there's the getting started section on there. And that's what you want to focus new reps with. And it has some great training and verbiage and stuff within that. But for more kind of deeper dive into some things, missiondrivenmodel.info is a great resource. You can click several places, but even just under Get Customers, in this section, what to say. Sorry, educational exposures. You can click here, and they do call it three-way on here, and I would change that, and I want to encourage you just to focus on that term connections. But I wanted to show you, this is a 2-page handout that I highly recommend you print off and put in a plastic sheet protector so that you have it really handy for some of this verbiage and explanation. And I just want to go over a little bit of this tonight with you. It'll be a pretty quick explanation because you guys can read it. I don't need to read it to you, but then we can open it up for any questions and stuff and wrap some things up. But really, Stacy, Christy, and I are prayerfully optimistic that you guys will schedule more of these connection calls, and then that you will be doing more with your own team. I mean, truly, I was doing these when I was a sales coordinator. So we want sales coordinators to still bring us their business prospects, but as you feel more comfortable, and the only way you're going to get comfortable is by doing them. So I just want to encourage everyone. Everyone has to start somewhere, but we want to encourage everyone to do more with us, but then also challenge everyone to kind of do more of these with your new reps and stuff like that too, especially when it comes to just helping them get customers and things that you are already comfortable with. But it talks on here about the value of a three-way connection, you guys. It is truly, if you go to conference, if you've been to conference, it is the #1 thing that you will hear people on stage say grew their business across the board, hands down. And it's something that our teams just do not utilize as much as we should. There are 4 types of these connection calls, and you see them listed there. One is to join our mission, and that is definitely if you have a raving fan customer or you have your dream team list and you want them to meet Christy, Stacy, or me. I mean, that is, we want to talk to those people. And so you just want to share, would you be open to a conversation with my friend Christy or Stacy or Julie or whoever? But that's all you have to say. You know, and I think, there's the verbiage, if I ... would you? You could even say, if I could set up a call with my friend, Stacy, you could hear her story of about health, her journey with this healthy living revolution, whatever it is you're setting up the call for. Would you be open to that? So again, if I, would you, that verbiage fits great with this, or if it comes up that it's someone who is struggling financially and they're telling you, I wish I had this money for XYZ, for this vacation or whatever, then you could say, if I could show you a way that you could earn an extra $500 a month, would you be open to that? I would love for you to meet my friend, Christy. Would you be open for me, to schedule a call with her and just hear her story, and she can answer any questions you have? So that's one thing. It's just connecting them with a friend. The welcome to the team. Absolutely. Stacy, Christy, and I want to meet our new team members, people who have joined our mission. And so that's just to introduce your new team member to us. And that's something that it is recommended in the Freedom Revolution training getting started. Once they go through that hour of material on there, then you want to set up that connection call with your NMD. And so this is what you would do in the process. Coaching calls. That's something that if you are newer in the business and you don't feel comfortable coaching some of your team and their goals, you want to set up a connection call for coaching. And then customer care calls. These are super fun that you can do just to call, thanking the customers, sharing stories. So you may have customers who have never met me if you're on my team, and just to reinforce the habit and thank them for taking Juice Plus too. So those are all different kinds of connection calls. Here are some tips for inviting to the call or the Zoom. One, it's how you sell us as your upline. You want to edify us and do it and build us up in their mind so that they're excited. It's all you guys and what, how you're sharing it. It's, they always say it's not as much what you say, except how you make them feel. And so when you're offering that connection call to them, you want it to be that they don't want to pass it down. Like, you've made us sound so wonderful that they can't wait to get on the phone with us, or whoever it is. We even have sidelines. I know Kimberly in Phoenix on Christy's team, she's a therapist, PT, and she has said, you guys, I'll do calls with anyone if I can ever help. So it doesn't always have to be just us as team leaders. It may be someone in this business that you've met through our team dinners and things, and you're like, gosh, this person would really resonate with so-and-so. We'd all be happy to do a quick call with people. So, but the verbiage is on here. You want to share just a little bit about who you're setting them up with. And then, it says get a couple times from, it's on here as Julie. That's really Julie Herbst, not me. I think this is from her training. But some of us use programs like You Can Book Me, where my schedule's online for my team to already see. And so they know when I'm available, and then they're just matching up their other person's schedule. And then as it says, the customer care calls can be impromptu. That can be where you schedule 30 minutes or an hour with me or your team leader, and we go through your customer list and we just call and leave messages or try to see who we can reach to say thank you and hear their experience with Juice Plus. The most important part of this, you guys, is these next two parts. Prior to the call or Zoom, you want to send a Voxer message to me or whoever is doing the three-way call, that connection call with you, about your guest. If it is a potential team member, there is a really great profile form. It's below this document. It's attached in here, you guys. So this team member profile, you can copy this out, do a few copies and fill that out, take a picture of it, and text me that picture so that I know more about the person that you're connecting me with. But at a minimum, you want to leave a Voxer message for Christy, Stacy, me, whoever's doing that connection call with you, Sandy, whoever, with information about your guest so that we can then target that call. It's very important that everyone on the phone knows how to manage the expectations of the call, the time, the length of the call, and what the purpose, what the intention of it was. Your responsibilities on the call, you begin by thanking everyone for getting on, and you introduce your mentor to your guest. And the script here is fabulous. Thank you. I'm excited for you to meet Julie. She's been eating or sharing Juice Plus for X years. I know you're going to enjoy her story. Julie, this is Joseph. And then you say a few things about the person then too that you're connecting. And then after you've introduced the two people, you are quiet. In fact, if you're tempted to talk, hit mute on your phone and don't talk, because it's really important that at that point you're just in listen and learn mode, that you're on just to learn more about asking high yielding questions and learning. One thing at our retreat, we talked about reasons some people aren't doing these connection calls, and one thing is they take too long sometimes. But one way to get around that is, again, manage the expectations up front. Make sure everyone knows, okay, we're scheduling 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is, and what the intent of the call is. We also, talked about there's a difference between intention and an agenda. You do not want an agenda per se. It's not to get this person to sign up as a distributor. It's to learn more about them to learn about us, and see if it's a good fit. Moving them one way or the other is a win. We don't want to convince people to join our team. And that's when calls can sometimes get too long too. And then the responsibilities here for the mentor, on some of these calls, that's really more the NMD or whoever. But as you're starting to do calls with your teams too, you can follow these kind of guidelines here as far as what that responsibility is for the mentor on the call or the Zoom. So if you haven't seen this form before, I hope this is helpful. And I think the more we start duplicating this format for a connection call, the more comfortable your team will be. If you've done a connection call, and I know Christy says this all the time, if she's done a connection call with a potential rep and they end up joining the business, it's so much more natural for them to use that tool because they were exposed to it too. Sorry, my phone's going to ring until I hang up on the telemarketer. Okay, so anyway, that's really important. And then the form below, you guys, it's just this potential team member profile where you're sharing a little bit more about each, that person, some of their characteristics, who lives in their house, what they do, different things like that. But having these notes on the person that we're getting ready to talk to is really, 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 really helpful. So at this point, I want to stop sharing screen and just see what you guys think. If you have any questions, you can unmute. If there's any reason that please be vulnerable and share. If there's reasons that you have not done connection calls in the past, if you have any thoughts or hesitations, please unmute and share, because I'd love to help address any of those. But I know the time one we talked a lot about this weekend, and I think just starting at the beginning by saying, okay, I know we each have 20 minutes for this call and we want to honor and respect that time, but I'm so excited for this chance to get to meet you and hear more about your story and share what my journey's been with our Healthy Living Revolution and our community, whatever. But you can preface up front exactly how long the time's going to be. And then lots of times, if it's getting to be close to that, I will say we have this great communication tool called Voxer. It's a free app. And I would love to stay in touch with you ongoing and see how things are going for you, or if you think of other questions that we can connect. And so I try to encourage getting a Vox chat set up, and then that's a great way for follow-up too after the fact. But any other hesitations or questions that you guys have had? Yeah.
So how do you transition? How does the conversation evolve into recommending a connection call? So like, what would that look like?
Do you want me to answer for like a customer, prospective customer, or distributor?
A current customer, a raving fan, to transition into a connection call.
Yeah. So when you'd ask, just say they're telling other people about Juice Plus, or they're telling you that they absolutely love their Juice Plus and whatever. So you first, for raving fan, you may ask, have you ever thought to share your personal experience with anyone else? Or is there anyone that you would love to have learn about Juice Plus? Because I'd be happy to share that with them. So that's kind of the next thing that I would generally ask a raving fan is, have you ever thought about sharing this with any of your friends or family? I would be happy to help get them information. So that would be my first kind of step, that it would be kind of feeling them out there before the three-way connection, doing a connection call.
Okay.
Or, and then if they say yes, but the other side of that you could jump to, depending on how the conversation flows, is have you ever considered, I know you're loving your Juice Plus. Have you ever considered maybe joining me in this mission and helping me share Juice Plus with more people? Is that something you'd be open to a conversation about? And so if you use the terminology, would you be open to a conversation about that? Then if they say they're open to a conversation about that, you can then lead in that conversation you'd love to be with whoever, Sandy, Stacy, Julie, Christy, whatever. So I think the phrase, would you be open to a conversation about that, regardless of what it is, If it was a customer situation, if I could show you a way to help your immune system with your allergies or asthma or whatever it is, would you be open to a conversation about that? Then if they say yes, you can say, I'd love for you to meet my friend Christy and hear her story. I know she'd be willing to do that, and I'd love to set up a time that you could hear her story and she could answer questions for you too. So, but it's really just about inspiring healthy living through sharing stories and connecting people. And you can say that too. Like, one of the things I love most about this business is who God's brought in my life and sharing stories and inspiring each other. And I'd love for you to meet my friend so-and-so. But yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Anyone else? Any hesitation? Questions? Yeah, Sheila.
It used to be the hesitation for me is, and I apologize, Stace, I've never done, I think I've done one, and it's horrible, but I just didn't think I felt comfortable. And now with the verbiage, giving them an out, I don't know where that verbiage was. I don't know. It's so close to what we used to supposed to be able to say, but just saying, would you be open? If not, no worries. I mean, that's so awesome.
Right. And that you guys all feel like you've won by asking. Like if you invite them to do it, you have done your job for the day. Okay.
Yep.
Like for those of you using Teamsy, it was an invite. You get to count it as an invite, So that's the thing. I mean, just getting better inviting, because we can't make people be interested, and we don't want to push wet noodles. We want people who feel our passion and how much we care and are energized, and it's contagious energy that they want to be a part of. So if they don't, that's okay, and you can check back with them later. But I do think, if you say, would you be open to a conversation about that? It lends itself to an easy then next ask of, I'd really love for you to meet my friend so-and-so and hear her story. I think it would really be inspiring for you, or whatever it is. Maybe they have commonalities. It's another stay-at-home mom or homeschool mom or whatever. You can make that connection. But yes, and honestly, Stacy, Christy, and I talk about it all the time. We didn't use them a lot. It wasn't modeled for us per se, for one reason or another, and so it hasn't duplicated. But we can all break that. This can be our generational healing in our family. And we can start doing more of them. Don't be afraid. No one is trying to close a sale or force someone to become a distributor. I think that was my fear, because I had experienced a couple calls like that with some different people. And so I did not want to put people on the phone with anyone, because I did not want my friends and family to be pressured the way I had felt that. But it's changed so much now. And so, yep. Anyone else? Any other hesitations or questions?
Question?
Yes.
Mine's not really that I'm hesitating. My thing is, part of it's scheduling, but the other thing is, I feel like I do a great job of like boosting Christy or whomever, and even had a customer of mine offer to do a 3-way call with me, with someone that has a similar, story to him. So it's, I guess, maybe is there something else that I could do to really like help people feel encouraged to want to do the connection call? Because I feel like I'm just missing something, maybe. I don't know.
And it may just be them. The other thing that you can do, and I may, I know I'm here in background. Sorry, I'm just going to mute you for a second, Kimberly. If a call seems too task-oriented to them, like in their mind, they're thinking, to coordinate schedules or whatever, start a group text, and you can do a lot of group texting. I know some of the younger distributors on my team, that's what Georgianne would text tons of people. And even verbiage wise, like instead of some things, like some of her younger reps, they would screenshot conversations with prospects, and then she would tell them what to say next. That is not the same as a connection, because you're not getting that third party validation that a connection call brings. But you can start a 3-way connection text even, or Vox is even better if you can get them on Voxer so they can hear the voice and the heart behind it. But texting. And then I would encourage, and I've used different things over the years, but for any leaders that are doing calls or want to offer calls to their team, I've used Sign Up Genius in the past, but it didn't link to my calendar. YouCanBook.me. You can have a free service on there. It's www.youcanbook.me. So once I signed up on there, my website is www.juliemahajer.youcanbook.me. And I tell it which hours I'm available in the day. And then it syncs up with my Google Calendar. And so my team can go on there and sign up for calls. So then they already know their schedule and my schedule, and they're just trying to plug in one other person's schedule. And there are several other ones that different NMDs use as well, but that's what I've found that can help too with scheduling. I know Christy's talking about doing something like that also. So yeah. Anyone else? Or if you want to close out by sharing a connection call win, anyone that's had great results from a connection call? Any other questions? Angie Horn, that skyline looks beautiful behind you.
The field behind me is beautiful, and you probably have seen me wrestle with a Pyrenees, an Australian Shepherd, and a pig all while we've been on this call. They are coming to me for love.
I missed your farm animals. So.
I do want to say that I think when I did the connection call with you, with Rebecca, that it was so helpful, because then she felt like she was a part of something bigger, and it was such a good connection in her hearing, like she already loves me, but then when she felt your heart and that you did too, people want a community, and it inspired her enough to jump on the car or jump in the car and come to Kansas City for just some more of that.
Yep.
I think that was big.
Yeah.
And we all love her too.
Yeah, she's
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Linda, did you have something?
Yeah, I was going to say, Emily and I had a customer whose kiddo didn't like the chewables, and they're were too sticky, and it was a fight. She was 3 years old. So, and she just told me to cancel everything. And I was able to get her on a connection call with Emily, and Emily just shared, she's been using Juice Plus forever with her kiddos. So, and it helped. She's going to keep trying to get her child to continue taking the chewables. So, so it worked. At least, it wasn't just me saying, but you need to do this. Because Emily had some stories, and she had some good stories about her son who had drunk river water and scouts, and the boys all got sick except for him, so just having those kind of stories. And she wants her kiddo to be healthier because she was getting sick all the time in preschool.
That's awesome.
So I'm hoping it works out. I have had a couple of customers complain about the chewables being too sticky. They've changed the formula. They don't dry them out as long. And so I've had a couple of people comment on that. I don't know if anybody else has noticed or anybody said anything, but
I haven't noticed the stickiness. I know I had one, it was actually a distributor who mentioned that they tasted different.
yeah.
They haven't changed. I mean, they really haven't changed the formula on the gummies recently. But corporate did send her new bags of garden. It was just her garden tasted different.
Yeah, corporate said that they would do that too with the stickiness, maybe, because I did ask Dr. Madero, and he said a year ago people were complaining that the chewables were too hard. And so they did change it so that they aren't drying out as long. So
we're impossible to please. We're like,
I know, exactly.
So when they got the new bags, were they different from the ones that were too sticky?
I didn't have that. I didn't get to.
When corporate sent new bags?
That was Julie's customer.
Yeah,
so
she hasn't gotten the new ones yet, so I can't tell. But it wasn't as sticky. It was a taste thing for her. She doesn't have them yet, but we'll check.
And that's what one of my customers said. The green ones taste different to her too. Yeah.
Yes, there was a problem with the green ones. So you just have to call corporate about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
thanks.
to wrap up tonight, just wanted to say thank you guys so much. And thank you for sharing that, Linda, because yes, getting anyone on the phone with Emily would be a good win. And I hope people do more calls like that. I mean, even the Bible says 2 by 2. Jay Martin says you need a buddy. And that goes beyond just working this business. I mean, it really does. And Stacy, Christy, and I are seeing the beauty of 3. And so it's super fun to have that connection and the energy of 3 people together, and just having someone else cast vision differently, amen something you've said, whatever it is. So I do want to challenge everyone, and if you can share in Voxer or on Facebook, I'd love to see everyone this month do more connection calls. Those doing Brave Leaders later in the month, you'll be challenged with 3 a week, but let's all try to schedule at least one connection call a week for whatever topic you want, customers, prospective distributors, but get in the practice of that verbiage and asking and making those connections with people. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And thank you guys so much for joining, and we can't wait to be together again next Tuesday.